locals. What's going on, everyone? It's Al from Exiles today, and a little bit of a different, shorter video today. Of course, it's return to you locals time, isn't it? So here in the UK, we're able to sort of interact with people indoors now to some degree, which means that local Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments are back up. Only small ones, unfortunately, nothing of major capacity just yet, but hopefully within time we're going to see something a little bit better. I actually came first place with this deck list, joint first with my good friend Shane, who has a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh channel called Set 5 Pass, which I will put a link for in the description. Please check him out if you see this video. Very cool guy. Does a lot of sort of control decks, and has a lot of memey but strong techs in his decks that have always put the brakes on my strategies whenever I go up against him. Now, I'm not going to give you the deck profile because I showed you it the other day. It's exactly the same as Phantom Knights. Went in with pure Phantom Knights this time around. It was a very interesting day. We had 4 rounds of Swiss, best of 3 matchups if you don't know what Swiss is. And yeah, it went pretty successfully. The first round up, I went up against Dale from Zephyr Wargames. He was playing Invoked Ogdodic. Fantastic deck that I've always wanted to try that variant, but at the moment I don't have the Invoke stuff to access it. Again, very sort of back and forth match. I did end up taking a 2-0 victory simply because I opened and saw a lot of disruption. I was able to out his Invoke monsters and essentially push through, as well as disrupt him with hand traps, as well as the Phantom Knights cards. Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon had a little bit of a scare where he was going to Ice Dragon's Prison, but then we realized that, okay, Dark Requiem's not a warrior, it's a dragon, meaning that everything I had in my graveyard was either Fiend or Warrior, so wouldn't have been able to banish the Dark Requiem, and that was how the game ended. Very, very fun match. And it's sort of got me in the mindset of how would I improve my Ogdodic deck, and I'm probably going to think of going down the lair route, but that's basically it. Second round matchup, I was up against Ritual Beasts. Yeah, so this was an incredibly competent player. This player has perfected playing this deck. It's one of the most complicated decks I've ever played against. And the amount of back row it can set up is ridiculous. They ended on so game 1 I won. I managed to punch through his disruptions, set up my own board as well, and just go for game like that. I saw a few hand traps as well. Going into game 2, I sided in the Artifact Lanciers you see here. Unfortunately, I didn't see any of my sides at all, or any disruption whatsoever, so he was essentially free to combo off, set up a massive board, massive back row, and unfortunately I couldn't play through Steed's Ambush, cause macro, and there was some other ridiculous stuff in there as well, so I was unable to play through that. Game 3, I opened with the Tour Guide and Lancia. So I opened the Tour Guide, I was essentially able to fully combo off. He didn't see any disruption in his hand, so I was able to fully combo off, set up the board of Dark Requiem, 2 Fog Blade in the back row, and the rank up, essentially, or Dark Rebellion and the rank up with Bardiche on the field, which was really cool. He started his play, he was about to go into Cannahawk play, but I dropped Lancia, and that was basically the end of the turn. There was about 1 back row set, and I was able to play through it, established an OTK, and just sort of punched through like that. Very good game, very competent duelist. I got paired down the next round. I was up against a player that was actually on a losing streak. Not to say that it was a sort of free win, because that would be sort of, that would be a bit cocky of me to assume. I'm trying to remember what they were playing. Oh yes, they were playing zombies. It was a Mayakashi deck out variant. Unfortunately, I do know that the special Bone Tower card is the main threat of that deck, so I was able to stop it with my Fog Blades and stop any potential FTKs from going off there. A little bit scary, but I managed to pick up the 2-0 victory from them. Game 4 was when I was up against Shane. He was on Grenmaju. That deck is incredibly scary. Not to mention the fact that if I'm going first and I try to establish something like Dark Requiem, they're just gonna they'll see a Kaiju 90% of the time probably, and Kaiju drops over Dark Requiem, and all I've got is my back row to save me. So it was very important that I tried to establish some graveyard recursion, like in forms of the traps like Fog Blade and Wing, to try and help save me from getting that one hit to the face. Yeah, it was an interesting back and forth match. I think I took the game 1. I was able to establish quite a crazy. I either took game 1 or 2, or vice versa. Basically, we had one win from the game apiece each, but time was called just before we even started the third game. So we ended up in a draw, which is how we got joint first place, because neither of us had lost leading up to this point. However, because of time restrictions, and the game did end up really grindy, we ended up drawing, which was unfortunate, but we both got a good share of prizes. We both left the tournament happy, and I would have even been happy to have come second place. Like that would even have been good for me. But I'm really happy at how this deck has performed. Again, cards like Dark Requiem, Arc Rebellion, these two just crazy boss monsters can give you so much power. You've got so much versatility to use. It's just so good. To go into like the main deck budget sort of stuff, cards like Forbidden Chalice, this card put in so much work, because one of my opponents dropped Invoke Kaliga, and I saw this in my hand. I was just like, okay, I'll just use Forbidden Chalice on the Kaliga, and then I was able to fully combo off. Torn Scale is a fantastic card. Staple in any Phantom Knights deck, August BA deck, hybrid. The main deck disruption like Ashes and Book of Moon. Book of Moon actually put in a surprising amount of work as well, because any deck that wanted to sort of OTK me, I could set this and they'd go for the attack in the battle phase, and I'll just flip it down, as well as the fact that if they've got any important starter cards that need to remain on the field face up, that also sorts them out. If we're talking about the side deck, Lancea is incredibly important right now, because a lot of decks banish, and you have Lancea, it can deal with a lot of the sort of more roguey sort of strategies there. Evenly matched again. It didn't really come up, I think, for me, but if it did, any deck that had to go first and established a board, I would have been able to put in the Dark Ruler and the Evenly and just sort them out. Nibiru, I thought I'd see something like Dragon Link today. Unfortunately, I didn't. There was a fair share of combo decks in. I did side this as well against the Ritual Beast matchup, but I didn't see that at all. I've got one-offs of Twin Twisters, Harpies, Feather Duster, and Imperial Order. I'm doing this simply because the deck doesn't really have that much back row removal, but I think Duster and Twister is really good, and Imperial Order is good for the spell control. And of course, a Triple Dark Ruler no more for the sort of blowout card. Yeah, it was a very sort of roguey sort of tournament, but there were very competent duelists there, all playing some of their favourite decks. And, any other situation, you know what they can say. You can have the best deck, but it's all about the player and how they're playing. Actually, there was a meta player there. I think it was, they were playing in, I think, Zodiac Eldritch. I'm not sure if with the Invoke package or whatever it was, but I didn't face them down. If I did, maybe I would have ended in a different place, but something must have gone wrong down the line for them, because they ended up in a lower position. But like I said, it is what it is. Yeah, thanks for watching. Please check out Shane's channel, Set 5 Pass, sorry. I'm going to put a link in the description shortly. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.